Boys and girls, welcome to Club Evil. I'm Evil Dick.
Evil Dick! Evil.
You're a devil in disguise is what you are. You're burning me on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. Why do they think that God gives a crap about what goes on in that house? And why do they think that he's going to part the Red Sea for them to the promised land? Didn't you watch last season? What they didn't show last season was me in the diary room praying to my God, Fred.
Like some young Chinese small spaces. Evil Dick. These little gooey telltale.
Are you taking the cameras off of me?
Evil Dick.
Yeah, I don't even know, like, did he throw the Kentucky Derby comp, he said? Because,
he said that he threw every
really
single one of them. He said that he throws every single competition he's saying that he's throwing. Even this competition. Now, let's talk about how... I know that Michael's gone because Michael went to Glass House. And people that are watching might not know who Michael is. Mike O'Sullivan... was the guy that put all the comps together for Big Brother since season 2, and is now like the number 2 executive producer on the sinking ship of Glass House, which I looked today and got like a 0.06 or a 0.6 rating with like 1 million and a half viewers or something. It's not going to be renewed.
Okay.
Who came up with this most horrible, overt sexual coaches competition where you're doing the workout thing?
I don't know.
That was
just embarrassing. I haven't seen it on TV, but I mean, I knew it was going to be kind of sexual with the whole butt and the hips and the tongue thing.
Especially the first part of the competition, I call either the dildo or the butt plug competition because it looks like they have you guys bouncing on like a butt plug or some kind of shit. And the last part of it with the little thing with, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, really? What the fuck is that? I'm so pissed off about it because I'm like sitting here going, you know what? If I was in that season, I'd go, fuck you, edit this however you want. Give it to Janelle. Give it to Dan. Suck my dick. I'm not going to... Really? This is the best that you could come up with? You guys are professionals. The show's been on for, 14 fucking seasons, and you have a competition? It's just... I don't know. Is it like, as much as we can humiliate? So... I don't know. It's just kind of getting to me.
Yeah, it was really sexual. I mean, I think it's just a new competition person. I definitely thought the sets this year were more elaborate. Like there was a lot more to them, like in terms of like the beauty of things. Like they were very beautiful.
I like the coaches racing horse thing. I found to be that was very visually. It was a good competition. I thought that the MC Hammer money thing. Was just stupid. And kind of lame. How about Boogie's gigantic ego losing that competition?
So great. I loved it.
He jumps off and hits the button, and I'm sitting there going, what
He said something too, didn't he? He was like, oh, look. And he went and like hit it or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, stop the competition. Boogie, you cannot win that. You are disqualified unless you go on slop.
Oh, really?
And he was
they gave him the option?
Well, yeah, because he fell off. He was on the floor, and they had stopped the competition. They said, if you get back on, you have to go on slot because you jumped off before you hit the button.
Oh, okay. Well, they didn't show us that. They just showed that he didn't win because he jumped off before he hit the button. And then he ended up winning that competition. Right.
Yeah. So I was right behind him.
No, yeah, for sure. I want to touch on one thing that we talked about. If you're not comfortable talking about this, we don't have to talk about it. That's fine.
Okay.
But the whole Aaron comment in Boogie's, where he says, this is for Aaron and this is, for Will and for Aaron, basically F you, Janelle, da-da-da-da. Do you want to address that at all or you want to? I mean, he said it on the television show, so.
I mean, I don't know why he's bringing up stuff from season 7. He's definitely playing personal. He knows what happened between Will and I. That's the only thing I can tell you. So basically he's trying to, obviously Aaron was super hurt by what we did. And he is saying, yeah.
To explain
I don't want to go into detail, but.
Okay, yeah. But to explain to the people that are watching, because to be honest with you, even when I saw it, I was like, who's Aaron? And I knew that Dr. Will's long-term girlfriend was Aaron, but it just didn't click. And I know that there must have been a couple million people that night going on Google going, Aaron, Big Brother, and nothing's coming up, and they don't even know what the fuck is, they're talking about. And even Julie Chen, in an interview in Entertainment Weekly, said that she asked the producers, who's Aaron? And they told her, it's Dr. Will's wife. So I can just kind of, so in BB7, Will and I had a showmance. He had a girlfriend named Erin Brody. And the whole time we were on the show, we definitely had a showmance going on. And we kind of continued that after the show wrapped, and he still had a girlfriend. And I don't know, she's mad and whatever. But it was so long ago, it's like, to me, I mean, that was embarrassing. My season was 5 years ago. Yeah, my season was 5 years ago. All Stars was 6 years ago. So it's like it's 6 years old. It's completely embarrassing. Why would you bring that up? I'm sure that Will and Aaron aren't very happy with him saying that. Like, why would you embarrass them? I don't know. It's he's just a piece of shit. It's drudging up old bullshit just to make himself look good, when really I felt like it was. Because honestly, as a viewer, I'm not like these crazy. Before I was on the show, I wasn't obviously involved like, I am now with Big Brother. Yeah. But I was like, but I was very interested in it because I was a finalist in 5, a finalist in 6. I was on the message boards. I was finding out as much as I could. Yeah. I watched the seasons over and over to learn as much as I could, hoping that I would get on the show, the following season. But as far as I knew as a viewer, that it was just like this flirtmance, which is what you guys called it in the house. And, I never questioned outside of that because you had a boyfriend, he had a girlfriend, so on and so forth. And for the majority of the viewers, I think that they thought or looked at it the same way that I did. But when Boogie said that, made you want to look and find out who's Aaron. Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, Boogie basically the really hardcore fans kind of know. Yeah, no, the hardcore fans. It wasn't on the show because Will would never ever give a diary room on that because he had a girlfriend, and like a lot of the hardcore Winnell fans know what happened. So I don't have to get into detail. Like they know what happened. I know what happened. Will knows what happened, and Boogie knows what happened. So Boogie's bringing stuff up that happened after All Stars wrapped, and that's fine, whatever. So, I didn't even know that you had a Winnell contraction name of your couple. Mm-hmm. And I have been calling, as a matter of fact, CBS called me the other day, I think a couple episodes ago. Oh, it was your eviction episode. When you watch your eviction episode, you'll see underneath, like right here, where they put highlighted tweets or featured tweets, and they asked me to write a tweet that they could feature on the show. And I wrote something about, is Janelle going to go home? This is a nail biter. I wish I was in the house with Janelle so we could kick Boogie and Frank's ass. I don't remember what it said, but I put something in about the Froogie showmance. So I named them the Boogie Frank, and it wasn't a bromance. I put showmance. So, it is a showmance. Boogie is completely in love with Frank, as he was in love with Will in season 7. Boogie falls in love with men very easily. I was letting that just sink into people for a minute. And as long as we're on Boogie, and I have no problem ripping on Boogie. Boogie's clothes. Boogie, even Dr. Will. Ew. They had a little segment with Dr. Will on where they asked about, they asked him about the coaches because the coaches thing wasn't done yet, and he gave his opinion about Brittany and his opinion about Dan and about you and about Boogie. And what he said about Boogie was he needs to update his wardrobe from season 2. And then Big Brother put when he had the orange hat and the orange shirt, and they put him like next to each other from season 2 and from this season. But what is up with all of the hats? Is Boogie going bald?
Not too much. He just dresses
there
like
it is.
Oh my god.
Where's Uncle Jerry?
Where's Uncle Jerry? Oh, I love that. He just dresses like a teenager. He needs to really. He doesn't dress like a 42-year-old's dad.
I haven't seen a teenager dressed like that in the orange. To be honest with you,
since the 90s, but.
Yeah, I was telling everyone that his outfit in the orange was sponsored by Popsicle. Popsicle Orange sponsors Boogie for this.
His clothing is definitely obnoxious.
He has must have brought in 20 hats or something. I don't even understand what the hell is going on with the hats.
At least 20.
Hats, headbands, bandanas. He's got a Greek fisherman hat. He has a Gilligan hat. He has this hat. He has that hat. It's like, dude, who wears so many hats? Unless you're going bald. I'm like, is this guy going bald or what's the deal? So, and I've had some people ask, do you think, has Dr. Will done any face stuff to Boogie? Did he prep him?
Hello.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Oh my God. You guys not see it on camera? Because when I look at him up close, it's all right here. But it's and it's even his eyes. His eyes are like this. And they're stuck. And when he talks and gets mad, it doesn't move. It's really weird.
Well, I just thought I would ask. All right, let's run down.
Yeah, he's got lots of stuff up here.
I figured it. His ears look kind of weird, and his nose looks kind of weird. So I just figured
his ears got bigger. I don't know why, but they're just bigger and droopier.
Like an old man, like hanging down.
Yeah,
and his
droopier.
nose a little bit too. I wonder if he drinks gin. If gin gives you kind of that more of a bulbous thing on the end of your nose. Like W.C. Fields had that big, Carl Malden from Streets of San Francisco. Let's run down the house guests and give me your impression on them, and then we'll talk about who do you think is in the best spots.
Okay.
What do you think? Hold on, Mike. I glue these stupid earbuds on there because they always come off and make me crazy. Anyhow. Okay, well, thanks for the time rundown there, fetus. We'll be finished soon, bitch. And we do have some video mailbag. So this is obviously going to run over. Maybe we could even make this a 2-parter, fetus. So anyhow, give me the impressions of the house guests. Let's start with Frank.
I think he's really good at Big Brother. That's why I'm targeting him week 1 to try and get him out of the house.
Right.
He shouldn't. I mean, they should have been split up. Him and Boogie together that's way too powerful of a couple. They need to be split up, and one of them needs to go home very, very soon. The next one should be out the door soon after. I think that he has a great social game. Not so much like a backstabber and sort of manipulator. He's just got a really good social game in the fact that he's really nice to everyone in the house. He has some disgusting things about him as well. Like his farting and stuff and just being really loud and obnoxious.
I heard that he doesn't wear deodorant because he doesn't like the chemicals it puts in your body, but I heard he stinks.
He does stink.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't wear deodorant. And I had to sleep pretty much next to him in that Skid Row room, but it was pretty awful. He doesn't wear deodorant, and he doesn't try and hide that fact. He always talks about not wearing deodorant, and he does stink.
Joe, I
love Joe. I haven't seen any episodes, but he's he is a troublemaker sometimes, but he's like super loyal, and he does catch on to things in the house. As much as people want to say that he's got a bad game, he does catch on to things in the house, and he's definitely a shit stirrer. I will give him that. But I mean, I hope he can make it. The problem with Joe is that he doesn't have any allies right now, so he needs to win an HOH and do something, because right now he's kind of screwed.
Yeah, he's kind of shit out of luck. With the whole thing with Willie, were you up in the HOH when Willie came up there? I can't remember. There was a few people up there when Willie came up to the HOH and said, he goes, I'm going to be evicted, or I'm going to be thrown out of the house or something. He was planning on doing something to get thrown out of the house. Now, the whole confrontation with Joe, you haven't seen the show. They showed us a little bit. Then when, you know how they do like the next episode and they'll do the same kind of thing but in black and white, like, you know, going over it again, why Willie went. And then they showed us a little bit more of it, and they showed it like 3 different times. What exactly went down? I mean, did Willie, was it?
All right, let me tell you.
People are saying that, you know, he shouldn't have been thrown out because basically what Willie did was the same thing that what Jordan did to Russell. Like when Jordan ran across the backyard and chest bumped Russell, which I think Jordan should have been thrown out of the house for it. So go ahead. Tell us what happened.
Okay, let me tell you what happened. So Willie came upstairs and said he was going to do something, blah, blah, blah. He runs back downstairs. Joe goes after him, and I hear, like, massive yelling. And at this point, Willie had headbutted Joe 3 times. Joe had marks all over his face. Okay, let me just go through it. Then me and Dan came down after, and we're like, what the hell is going on? And Willie started shouting at him. He started getting in my face. And he was like, he got right in my face, and I was like yelling at him back. And he was like, what are you doing running downstairs? Yeah, because I was ready to like take him on. Like, I did not give a shit. I was so sick of his ass. So I came running down the stairs, and he goes, what the hell are you doing running downstairs, Janelle? And I go, it's our house too, Willie. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'll do whatever I want. And then he reaches for pork rinds on the table. And he picks them up and he throws them at me. He goes, fuck you. And then Joe goes, don't you talk to Janie like that. And Joe was like this. And so Willie walks up again and goes, and headbutted him again. And at that point,
what's Big Brother doing after the first 3 headbutts? They're not over the PA.
They were the whole time. No, the whole time they were screaming on the speakers, Willie to the diary room. But I came downstairs with me and Dan coming downstairs at that time when he was leaving the bathroom. That infuriated him more because I was coming downstairs and he wanted to tell me off too, I think. And then he walked away and I said, bye, Willie. And then he ran away to the diary room. And then Joe got called to the diary room about an hour after because Joe had like marks all over his face. He had to go see a doctor, and I'm pretty sure he had to see the police to see if he wanted to do a report and stuff, press charges.
Oh, wow, really?
Because he had marks all over his face.
And you know that, well, you might not know, but Willie, the day after he got home, got arrested for DUI, evading the police, and I think there was an assault charge on there as well. I'm not sure, in where Louisiana or wherever he's from. Yeah, well, neither was I.
Yeah.
He was on TMZ and everywhere else. You can see it on TMZ. Just go look up Willie.
He's a piece of work. What would you have done playing the game with him, Dick? Would you have just lost your mind?
It depends if I wanted him on my side or not. If I didn't, he would be so. He obviously would have been so easy to push over the edge.
He was.
And you know how that, like, with me, I would like push people like to the edge or over the edge where they would just start losing their shit. And that's what I would have done with him. And I was kind of looking forward to doing that with Rachel last season. And everybody was very disappointed that they didn't have the chance to see me push Rachel over the edge last season. I think there would have been an actual suicide in the house had I stayed in there with Rachel and had we been at odds at any point in the game. But, who knows?
Yeah.
But the game wouldn't have went the way that it did. Last season if I had stayed in. But there was something else I was going to ask you. It kind of came to mind and then it went. So Frank, Joe. Oh. Okay. Jen. Before I say anything,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you say. Jen. Thoughts on Jen?
I don't even, well, she's really hard to read. I don't even think she's there for the right reasons. She's there to promote her band and stuff like that and to be on TV to get noticed.
She's not in the band anymore.
She's there
though.
to,
she hasn't been in the band for like
DJ
4 years or
gigs and
something.
stuff.
Oh,
She
okay.
said she told me to my face that she's there to promote her music and her DJ gigs. That's what she said.
I'm wondering if that's what so basically, not really what do you think of her as a game player?
Pretty shitty. Doesn't really have a real true strategy, her and the Tits Alliance. I mean, what a freaking joke. Those three clowns are together. They think they have the votes.
Yeah.
Newsflash, there's 3 of you, and one of you's on the block. Yeah, that alliance is going to be crumbling on Thursday. And
Yeah,
I don't think she's that great of a gamer. She's never watched Big Brother before, ever. And she's told me that. She was recruited on Facebook 2 weeks before the show started.
Why do they do this? I don't understand. Why do they do this? You know,
I don't know. It's because of the way she looks, and
I don't get it though.
like she's got a
They
character.
do these auditions. They do these auditions across the fucking country. People are sending them in videos, and I'm sorry, Robin, but the truth is, it's like I've heard so many people be cast at the last minute after I went through this fucking bullshit for 3 goddamn years to get on the fucking show.
Not only that, but she didn't even have to sit in finals. Like, she didn't have to sit there for a week in a hotel room. She just got called, and she got on a plane, 4 days later.
I just think it's such bullshit. And those people don't work out. They did the same thing with Zach in my season. And Zach was like, people are going, Zach? Who's Zach? Who's Zach? When I say Zach, and that's the truth, is who's Zach? Anytime anybody brings up Jen online or whatever, I always say, who's Jen?
Yeah.
Jen has had the least amount of FaceTime than anyone in that house. It's so ridiculous how I'm like, I forgot this girl was even in the fucking game. So
right.
I don't know. I think she's a waste of space, to be honest with you. How fucked up is Ashley? And why do they keep feeding her drugs in the DR?
I don't know. I mean, she definitely is the stoner type, She's kind of bohemian hippie-ish, and she definitely likes her drugs. She's definitely talked about tripping on mushrooms and acid and all that, and that's fun, but she's playing Big Brother now, and she can't get a hold of much. She's basically begging for Benadryl and Tylenol. It's really messed
because
up.
I thought they were giving her muscle relaxers in the diary room.
No, they were for a while. They were giving her shots in her back of cortisone and shots of painkillers in her back, in her spine. She's just a mess.
And even
she
the
can't compete in this game.
Oh, she's fucking horrible. Absolutely horrible. Horrible. I mean, if I was her, if I was in there, which is what Dan is talking about, what Boogie's talking about, and anybody else that has a brain in there, they're talking about bringing her to the final 3 because she's going to be, easy as hell to just cut loose when they want.
Why?
She's
why
terrible.
wouldn't you bring her?
Exactly.
Yeah. She'd be great. Who wouldn't want to sit next to her at the end? It'd be great.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything at all.
Her origin. 2 ponds.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 wastes of space. And there's a few more wastes of space that we're coming up on in my list here. What do you think of Kara? What did you think of Kara?
I really liked Kara. I wish I would have picked her as my first pick. She's a little reserved, definitely, and but Kara and I had a lot in common, and I think we would have worked well together in the house if we would have been aligned right away instead of working against each other. And that was just circumstance. We worked with Willie's team because Brittany and I had somewhat of a connection that first few days. So, but if Kara would have been in the house, I think she's not the kind of person to be told what to do, and she cannot be so easily manipulated as some of the other girls in the house. And I think she would have been a great person to like take out the guys. Like she knew what Boogie was doing.
Yeah, she's I don't think people really got to get to know her. I just had her on Dick at Night a couple episodes ago. Her and Jody actually were on the same episode. And of course, I got a call from James Ryan going, "Oh, hey, Dick, do you mind if I sit in on the show tonight? Kara's going to be there, right?" So, but she's, talking to her online, talking to her on the telephone. We text back and forth. She was texting me just the other night, as a matter of fact. I think it was last night. She's like, "Hey, why don't you come out to the so-and-so club?" And, and I'm like, "Well, I'm in Denver now." And she's like, "Oh, I thought you were in LA. So, the next time you're in LA, let's get together." She's very, very nice. And I think that, the show missed out on somebody that could have been very, very interesting, very amusing, and somebody fun that would be fun to watch. But she was a victim of circumstance more than of her own doing.
Willie and Frank. Yeah, it wasn't like, it was stupid because she should never have left. Frank, since the beginning, I was like, Frank needs to go. And because I made it so known that Frank was such a huge threat in the game, Willie wanted to keep Frank to come after me, which was just stupid, because then I was like screwed, because we had promised him those 3 freaking stupid votes and we couldn't keep Kara, even though I wanted to so bad. There's no way.
Willie was something else. We really went over him. So as long as we were talking about Kara, and did you talk to Jody at all? She was in and out in 8 hours.
Little.
It's had to be like a world record. But she's...
it was way close. It was 3 hours in the house. Tops.
How unfair do you think that was, them booting her like that? I mean... Well,
obviously it was because of the twist of the coaches coming in, so someone had to leave that first night. We kind of knew that was going to happen, though, because of the amount of people that were in there.
It didn't really add anything to the show, though, and I think that it really took away, because I think that Jody has much better personality and would have been better on the show than like Jen, Jen for sure. Jen, like
Jen
I said,
is
has just been invisible, and Ashley's another one. Anyhow, we're getting to Ashley. Let's do Ashley right now. Give me your thoughts on Ashley. We talked about her a bit, but go ahead and finish up.
Honestly, I was shocked when I got out of the house and I learned, first of all, I was kind of like, what the hell? Why didn't she vote for me? And I didn't understand that she hated me so bad. I didn't know what I had done to her. I was always her friend in the house. Like, she was she was a player on my team. And she hated me. I didn't know this. Like, I did not have a good grasp on what kind of player she is, other than just her being really two-faced. I don't think she has a strategy, or, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
you're right.
For her, she'll just go with the wind. Like, it doesn't matter. Someone can tell her, "Oh, Janelle's a bad person." She was like, "Oh, okay, then I'll believe you."
No, you're exactly right. People in the beginning were like, "Oh, she's a lot smarter than you're giving her credit for, Dick." And I'm like, "No, she's not. No, she's not."
Yeah.
And as the time goes on, then they're like, "Oh, I guess you were right. She is an idiot." Yes, She is. She's an idiot. She's an idiot. She's a terrible game player, and she's a waste of space there. Okay, so we talked about JoJo. What about JoJo? JoJo can be very abrasive, very irritating. Her with the New York accent. "Did you bring my coffee? Pop the car." And I'm from New York. And, the New York accent has, little fond memories for me, like growing up there. But she really left a bad taste in my mouth with her. But again, and she talks a lot. I had her on my show, too.
She talks a lot.
A lot. Do you think that was part of her downfall, or?
People found her to be abrasive. People found her to be the good thing about her, though, is she was super loyal. She was loyal to Willie and Shane. And we probably should have voted Danielle out and Dan together. But, of course, the idiot that I am, I tried to freaking save Dan that week because I thought the coaches would want to work together. I didn't want to make a bigger target on myself. I should have probably convinced my team just to vote out Danielle that week. But
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what I was hoping that you were going to do, because I always felt that Dan should go first and and go quick. But to be honest with you,
Your advice
if that,
definitely replayed in my mind when there were moments like that, and your advice, and I could hear you saying, "Get rid of Dan, get rid of Dan." And then because of my team, I mean, I didn't have a vote. I had to convince them otherwise. And it was kind of like the whole floater thing. Like, I had a team of floaters. They were just like, well, you know, Frank wants this person out. Let's go get this person out. Whatever. It's just such a mess.
yeah, it is a mess. It was a mess. It is a mess. They're going to get picked up one by one. And you have to keep in mind that the producers and everyone knew that this coaches thing was just a pile of shit. It was just an excuse to, get you guys in there with the pass, for X amount of time. And if Dan was in any real danger at that time, they would have done what they did Frank's week, where they would have said, oh, guess what? There's no eviction tonight. We can't lose Dan. I mean, even Frank talking about backdooring Dan this week, Dan comes out of the diary room, and he's like, yeah, the diary room's asking me, what do you think if they might be trying to backdoor you this week? It's like, production's just meddling in the game too much for my liking, to be honest with you. Like, way too much this season.
Right.
So, and it really irks my ass that we had such a great blindside in Frank, and they fucked the viewing audience. They fucked everybody in the house. They fucked you.
They fucked me and Shane.
Yeah, Shane, huge. Absolutely. Shane had not just 2 people that he put on the block, but 3 people that he put on the block because he used the veto. It was his HOH. He won POV. They just trashed that. And then he's got Boogie after him as well. So he's got 4 people pissed off as hell at him, and he didn't even get to evict one person. What the fuck is that bullshit?
Exactly.
So that really leaves, really pisses me off, to be honest with you. So what do you think about Dan? How do you think he's playing?
I mean, I don't know what Dan's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking in trusting Boogie. I think it's really, really a bad idea for Dan to do that. I don't know what he sees in Boogie that he can trust. I tried telling him that I was definitely more trustworthy of a player to work further in the game with than Boogie, and he didn't believe me. And I tried to tell him that Frank was going to be gunning for him, and Frank is gunning for Dan. And Dan didn't see it, and I tried to get it in his head. I was like, Dan, Frank is gunning for you. And Dan was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, dude, he's coming after you. Frank told me that whole conversation when the week that I turned on Frank, when Frank was like, I'm going to go after you, Boogie, and Dan. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come after you then. And after that conversation, I definitely did try and turn my team on Frank. That was when Frank was HOH. Because why would I knew I was going into the game. Why would I want some freaking lumberjack coming after me? And I told that to Dan, and he just doesn't listen to what I'm saying. Frank is going to be gunning for him.
And Frank if it was up to Frank this week, if we had the coaches thing, if he wasn't up Boogie's ass, so far as he is right now, he would have used the veto and put Dan up. That's what he really wanted to do. From the time that he won the HOH, he wanted to put Dan up, and Boogie said no. Then he won the POV, and Frank's like, I want to use it, I want to put him up. Boogie's like, no. Frank's feeling everyone in the house out. How would you think if I put Dan up? And then Boogie, the next day Frank tells him, and Boogie's like, all pissed off at him, and he's like, no. So Boogie's covering his own ass, but I think that Dan just wants to be like this Chilltown 2.0 so bad that he's willing to trust Boogie, who's one of the. It's like between the 2 of them, Dan and Frank, Dan and Boogie, you have 2 of the biggest line manipulators that have ever played the game. In both of them, and I wouldn't trust either one of them. I would want them both out.
That's why I don't understand why Dan is. But I don't understand why Dan is trusting Boogie over me. I just don't get it. Because
You've always been loyal
I'm not
to
the
your
kind
alliances.
of player. Exactly. Yeah. And Dan knows that about me, and he's willing to take a gamble and try and trust Chilltown. And like, Boogie's not going to bring Dan to the end. Why would he? Dan can beat him. It's stupid.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. I'm just kind of fed up with this whole season and everything that's going on. Let's go. Here's one of the most interesting characters on the show for sure. Ian.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Ian?
Yeah. Really nice kid. Kind of socially awkward. I haven't seen the episodes. I've been reading updates on Jokers, of course, and seems that he's in an alliance called the Quack Pack, and he's going back and forth between Boogie and Frank's alliance and the Quack Pack. What a great strategy. He's a nice guy. I mean, if he were in the end and he were sitting against pretty much anyone, I'd probably vote for him to win, but I'm not voting this year.
But is Ian playing to win, or is Ian playing to get on the jury to have the full Big Brother experience?
Yeah, he's a little naive. That's the problem. He is really nice, so you want him to win and you want him to go far, but you don't know his strategy. I don't know. He's really into the whole Big Brother experience, getting to jury. That's all he talked about, is that he wanted to get to jury. Who the hell plays for jury? Being on jury sucks.
Let me tell you, Janelle, you are the first person I had when the last show I did with James Ryan. Yeah. And that's the show that I had with Jody and with Kara. And, of course, James is flirting with Kara, and he says, why do people vote out the good-looking girls early? You want to keep them for the jury house. And I go, listen, this is the difference between your thinking and my thinking. I never, ever had one thought about the jury house or being in it or who I'm going to be in there with it or any of that bullshit. My thoughts were always focused on winning and not being in the jury house. And you're the first person, and that's the truth. So
the jury fucking sucks. I mean, they think that it's a vacation and it's the Big Brother experience, but you're isolated in a house with a bunch of handlers. You can't talk to anyone. You can't freaking drink. They don't it's just like the Big Brother house, but you're not playing the game and you're sitting in the house by yourself.
Right.
It's like you have all those rules, you have all those restrictions. They're still controlling you. Like, why would you want to be in the jury house?
Exactly. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that people that play to be on the jury end up on the jury. And I think that this is the thing with Ian. I think that he's being foolish in his gameplay in a lot of different ways because he's a nice kid. Where he let Jen have the Hawaiian vacation, and he took the dog outfit, where he had to be a dog. And what's funny is a bunch of people tweeted me and said, Dick, what if you were in the house and you had to wear that dog costume? And I'm like, listen, it's $500,000. I put the fucking dog costume on, and I guarantee you something. I would have slept in the doghouse. When they woke up the next morning, there would have been a big pile of shit next to the doghouse. I'm like, I would have shit in the backyard. I would have went into the house. I would have lifted my leg, and I would have pissed on Frank's leg. You can put me in a dog costume. I'm going to give you the full experience of having a dog in the house.
The full experience of being a dog.
That's right. So, and I wouldn't have been shy about it at all. So, okay, we got Ian. I want to save the best for last. Let's go Will. What's your feelings about Will? I know that they're different now that you found out, all of what a catty, two-faced bitch that Will is. Really, there's no other way to explain it.
I kind of knew it, though, the week that Shane was HOH and he was running around to both sides, lying to both. So that kind of tipped me off, wow, what a fucking piece of shit this guy is. He's a complete piece of garbage. He's just not a nice person at all. Very hateful and spiteful, mad about the coach's twist, which I can understand, but you know what? I got screwed too, he was really pissed at me because I came into the game. He was pissed at Big Brother, just bitter and mean. Not a nice guy at all.
Yeah,
and not a good player at all. I tried telling him, look, I was like, you shouldn't vote me out. I'm not coming after you. Not only will I not come after you, I won't nominate you or vote you out of this house in this game because we were team members. And he never he never wanted to work with me. Never wanted
never got
anything
it.
of that. Never. He still doesn't get it. He's a freaking idiot.
Well, and you brought up something that he said, saying that you wouldn't have gone after him. He wasn't on your radar, so on and so forth. So let's skip down to Brittany, because this is the revelation now that you're gone, that you hear Brittany talking about in the house, going, "Oh, I was so stupid. Why did I vote Janelle out? She would have never voted me out. I wasn't on her radar." Wah, 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 wah. You're a dumb bitch. So, go ahead. Thoughts on Brittany? Thoughts on her gameplay?
Okay, Brittany's playing the same game that she played in season 12. Just a catty girl wanting to hide behind big, strong men players, and that's fine. She was the only person in the house that I ever talked Final 2 with at all. And, I was going to take her to the Final 2. She voted out someone that was taking her to Final 2. Good job, Britt. Hope you lose.
How far do you think that she's going to go? You think she even has... You think she has a chance in hell at this?
She can if she keeps staying with the newbies, but it's so difficult, like I said, for a girl to beat a guy at the end. I mean, she's got to take Danielle or Ashley or Jen to the end to win.
Hey, I would think so,
She can't beat Ian. She can't beat Frank. She can't beat Boogie. She can't beat Dan. I don't even think she can beat Joe.
I think the only thing that she's doing well is that she's spending a lot of time with the newbies instead of with the coaches. But she has no choice because Boogie and Dan don't really give a shit about her, and they look at her like all of them. All of you guys thought of her as like, what is she doing here? Which is what all of America. Like, what is she doing?
They don't think
there?
she has any game. They think that she's just a little liar that hides behind like a strong men's alliance, which she does.
Is there anyone that has been played harder than Brittany in any season of Big Brother? Like, I honestly can't think of it. Maybe Erica with Boogie.
Scrubbica, maybe.
But that was like
no, Brittany definitely got played the hardest.
Personal thing.
That's why I always tried to bring up to Brittany too, like maybe she and I were put in the house together to work together because of what happened with me in All Stars with Chilltown and what happened with her in the Brigade, and she just wasn't getting it. It just wasn't clicking for her for some reason. She just never wanted to work with me, which is really sad because I never targeted her. I was wanting to take her to the end, work with her and change whatever I had to do.
She got really butthurt because you weren't going out of your way to be BFFs with her. I mean, and there was times where she would say it. She said it in the diary room. I would try to start a conversation with Janelle, and she really wasn't interested or this or that, and wah 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 wah. She's not. It's just. She's just being what she is a catty bitch. I never found her funny or cute or her diary rooms. This is why she was brought back, was her funny diary rooms. We all know that. It's the only reason. They don't cast for gameplay. Big Brother producers do not cast for gameplay. We saw that in All Stars, which really wasn't in All Stars, when you have people like Kaser in there, when you have people like Howie in there, you have people like Boogie in there, who shouldn't have been in there, and Chicken George. Come on. Well, it cracked me up when Boogie's like, I won All Stars. I'm the baddest one. Who did Dan win against? Dan won against a bunch of nobodies. I won the best of the best. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you beat Chicken George. You beat Kaser. You beat Howie. I'm like, there were some good players in there, but
not only that, but he wasn't a target. Boogie wasn't a target because he was the fourth out his season. Everyone thought he sucked, too bad to nominate. He was a Chicken George for a while. There were other targets in the house than Boogie. That's why he made it so far.
Always bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
So, people are talking about what a great move he made, putting the bug in Danielle's ear about, replacing the nomination with you. And I'll give Boogie props. It was a good move. It was a good game play. But Boogie hasn't been playing all that great. And people, give me shit oh, you're jealous. Fuck off. I'm not jealous. I'm saying that what I see. When your best ally is going to be blindsided the week before and you have no clue about it whatsoever, and your best ally should have gone home had not the producers stepped in and completely stopped the eviction.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me? There's no eviction tonight.
Not only that, Dick, but Boogie played a horrible game the first 3 weeks because all he did was lay in bed and sleep. Every night,
I noticed that
all
too.
I would have to do is go up to the HOH room and just work on whoever I needed to. And the time I got Frank on the block, it was so easy because Boogie went to bed at 9:30 p.m. It was easy just to go up to the HOH room and be like, let's get Frank on the block. It was easy. It was so easy. They were like, okay, let's do it. And then the next morning, Frank's on the block, Boogie's crying.
He was depressed. He was, he was sleeping all the time. I didn't get it. I noticed that too, where a lot of people didn't, but I don't know how they couldn't if they're watching the feeds at all.
He's a great gamer, but he honestly just started playing the game last week, pretty much.
Well, yeah, since he found out that Frank should have gone home.
He wanted to go home when he found that out. And then after the POV, then he finally started playing,
So I think we're down to it. What do you best for last, Danielle?
Wow, what a complete psycho. I never called her fat, ever. I never said she was fat. I was repeating what JoJo said. And she took it and ran with it that I had called her fatty, 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 and I was bullying her, and I wanted her out of the house. When she told me that she thought that I was gunning for her, I freaking laughed to myself. Seriously, you aren't worth my time.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. And I actually had there's very few online people that I know, them in particular. When you have almost 80,000 followers that are commenting at you.
Yeah.
But Cleo the Leo?
Yeah, she's nice.
Okay, she is nice. And I brought her up on one other recap, and everyone's like, "Oh, Dick talked about you." So, oh yes, I'm talking about her again. And the competition, I said that they're going to have an endurance competition is due. And it's for an HOH, and it's going to be a hanging endurance competition, and it's going to be the littlest chick is going to end up winning it. And then she says, "Well, what about the leaning thing?" I go, "It's the same thing." I go, "Danielle won that last year." I go, "The littlest chick is going to win." Then I get a bunch of people going, "Well, Matt won it the year before." And I go, "Matt is the littlest chick of that season with a little penis."
He's 5'6".
I go, "It's the only difference."
He's 5'6". Yeah.
Yeah, and he weighs 110 pounds or something. So he's that's the frame of the littlest girl, and there's less body weight, less mass, less height, because it's all. Exactly. We could talk to Ian about the physics of all of that and how it works, but that's why these people can't last. And if you look at the hanging ones, look at Danielle Reyes in All Stars, hanging on the spider web. She won that one. In my season, Danielle, my daughter, won the bat hang upside down thing. All of the hanging ones, the littlest girl wins. And she's like, "Well, I think Frank's going to win. I think this one's going to win." And I'm like, "No, they're setting this up so either." And I said,
a girl wins.
I think I said either Brittany or Danielle, because I didn't know, which one would be the smallest. And they're both little girls, but it was set up for one of those two to win. And they were probably very disappointed that Brittany didn't win that HOH, to be honest with you. And they're probably regretting it now that you went home, to be honest with you again. So anyhow, we'll wrap this up, and but I want to get your thoughts. Who do you think has the best shot at winning this game?
I think Frank does. Frank, Dan, or Boogie. It's definitely going to be a male that wins Big Brother this year.
Yeah.
I've been saying all season, I think it's going to be a guy that wins Big Brother, and I think it's going to be Frank Udi.
Frank Udi? Fruity?
Yep.
All right. Don't go anywhere because we're going to do a YouTube thing right after this. But Janelle, I want to thank you for coming and spending time with me. You know I love you to death, and don't believe any of those assholes on Twitter that are trying to start shit between me and you, because I've been a total supporter of you, and you know that we've been good friends for a long time. So thanks for coming, and I would love to have you on some of the other recaps as the season goes on, when you have time to talk about what's going on in the house.
I'd love to. Let's do it.
Right on. All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks,
Janelle.
Dick.
Okay.
Okay.